I've been talking about this movie all morning, and I keep saying how much it affected me. It was just...
So that's good.
Oh, it's a brilliant movie. Did it affect you in the first time you saw it in its entirety?
Yeah, I think so, yeah. I mean, partly because, you know, my character's in about a third of the film, so there was a lot that I didn't see, all of the Dunkirk section, you know, I hadn't seen any of that, and I think it's completely jaw-dropping. You know, this is definitely a film that it's playing with the audience's emotions. It wants you to feel things, and no, it was very exciting when we screened it in Venice. It opened Venice Film Festival, and everybody was crying, and makeup was running, and it was just, you know, it's kind of wonderful because that's what it's meant to do, and to be part of a film that's really speaking to people is an amazing thing.
You knew before I did.
Why are you crying?
Don't you know?
Yes, I know exactly.
It's a story that I feel very, very close to still. The story of Robbie and Cecilia is one that affects me a lot, and I think until very recently, maybe the last 2 or 3 months, having a little think about the film or about the story and about what happens to them would bring a tear to my eye.
I think it affected all of us. It was a very, very happy shoot. We all had a lot of fun and laughed a lot.
He created the most wonderful atmosphere, full of lightness of being and precision and laughter.
It was all very well prepared before we even got onto set, which meant that we all kind of knew the ballpark that we were playing in, and everybody was on the same page. And I think that really helped in doing a film like this.
We all knew what we were doing, we all knew where we had to get to, and we were all on the same page, which doesn't always happen. But when it does happen, it makes everybody relax a little bit, and it makes for quite a safe environment, so you can communicate easier. And when you can communicate properly, you can develop a relationship, and then I think chemistry comes quite easily after that, you know?
Careful!
I accepted the part before I'd read the book. It had been one of those books that had been lying around in my house and I'd never actually got around to reading. So I read it after I accepted the part. And you know, it's an astonishing book, and I think one of the things that's amazing about it is it's uncomfortable. You know, you always feel there's this sense of foreboding, and I think it was very important for all of us to make sure that you had that in the film as well, and I think it's very much helped by the score of the piece, and obviously by the accents. They're all quite brittle, you know, they're not soft, and I think that helps with the whole feel of it.
I wanted to stay as faithful to the book as possible, and in a way that was the challenge that I set myself and Christopher Hampton, was to how do we find cinematic equivalents for all of McEwan's devices and prose, and so that was the challenge.
There were many different things to try and encapsulate in the film, but the one thing that really struck me in the novel, when I read the novel for the first time, was that it seemed to be Christopher Hampton having a conversation about how much someone who is a writer is absolved from moral responsibility in their own life through their writing. What Bryony essentially does is attempt to live her life through her work, and I think that was very interesting to me in terms of how a person can believe that and whether or not it's right, whether or not you can do that.
It's about a young girl, a young and foolish girl who sees something from her bedroom window which she doesn't understand, but she thinks she does.
What does the word atonement mean to you?
I suppose it means having an ability to come to terms with actions that you've committed yourself and making a concerted effort to enable others to forgive you for them.
Atonement is primarily an act of seeking pardon.
Payment for a crime. Not forgiveness, not... What is forgiveness? I suppose liberation. The liberation of one's soul from guilt, you know. But atonement is not that. It's just to pay for it. And anybody can pay for it, but not everybody can be forgiven. So I think even the whole notion of atonement is slightly flawed as well, which I think is brilliant. You can choose to accept a nice conclusion and the closure at the end of the film, if you like, or you can choose to go, no!